Hello, Psychology 201 students. Welcome to your tutorial on t-tests using RStudio. First, let's learn how to run a one-sample t-test. In this example, Tailgate Picnic wants to improve their sales. Past sales data indicate that the average transaction was $9.43. After adding some new menu items, recent sales data was taken from a sample of 25 transactions, and it indicates that an average sale was now $13.59. Did adding new menu items work? This is going to be a one-tailed test because we're wanting to see if the average transaction increased. Let's test our hypothesis at the 0.05 level. So first, in the environment pane, let's import the Tailgate Sales Excel file. So we'll go to Import Dataset from Excel. I'm going to browse, and it was in the RT-test tutorial. Here's the Tailgate Sales. We're going to hit Open and then Import. And now you'll see the data in this window. So we have to type in some code. The first thing we're going to say is with, and this is going to let the computer know which data set we're using. So we're looking at Tailgate Sales, and that pre-populates, so we'll click that. Then we'll add a comma, and say t.test. This lets us know, lets the computer know that we're going to want to run a t-test. Now we'll add the parentheses. We'll let it know that the variable we're interested in, which is x, is going to be the price variable. So we'll type in price. Then we'll add a comma and type in mu, which is going to be the population mean. So the population mean that we're comparing our new transactions to is the $9.43. So we'll type in 9.43. And the last thing we'll write is the word alternative equals. And in this case, we're going to say greater because we're letting the computer know that we're only interested in whether this the average here is greater than the population average of 9.43. So then we'll hit enter. And here is our output. This tells us that our t-statistic value is 2.0885. Our degrees of freedom were 24. And our p-value is 0.02377, which is less than 0.05. So here, the mean of our sample is 13.59. And we can say that this average is significantly higher than the previous average sale of 9.43 because of this p-value being less than 0.05. Now let's run a paired samples t-test. Let's say the Division of Student Life wants to pilot a new orientation activity aimed to increase student satisfaction with their rooms. So they decide to partner with Target and give each new student a fun new set of sheets during their second day of orientation at Mount Holyoke. To see if room satisfaction increased after this gift, they found 40 students and measured their satisfaction on day 1 of orientation before they received their sheets, and on day 3 after they received their sheets. So their scores were entered into the data file orientation. So again, in the environment pane, we're going to import the data set from Excel, and we're going to look in the RT-test tutorial folder, and here is the orientation data file. So we'll import this. So we have the participant ID variable, pre-sheets satisfaction, and post-sheets satisfaction. This is on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being very dissatisfied with their room and 10 being very satisfied with their room. So in the console, we are going to enter the code with orientation to let the computer know that we're interested in using the orientation data file. Then a comma, and again, the same code t.test, but this time, after the parentheses, we'll enter the variables. So pre-sheets, comma, and post-sheets. Then we'll add another comma, say paired equals true to let the computer know that we are indeed looking at a paired samples t-test. And for the alternative, we're going to type in the alternative equals less because we're going to see if the pre-sheets satisfaction level was significantly less than the post-sheets satisfaction level. So now we enter and get this output. So this tells us that the data is for the pre-sheets and post-sheets variables. It tells us the t-score is minus 3.23, that the degrees of freedom were 39, and that our p-value is 0.001. So that's below the significance, the alpha level that we set at 0.05. So we can go ahead and say that this mean of the differences, so in this case, about almost 9 points, or almost a ninth of a point, meaning 0.875 difference on a 10-point scale, that is significantly, so this pre-sheets average is significantly less satisfied than the post-sheets average. So that we can say in simpler terms that the gift of the new sheets did increase the students' satisfaction in their room. Now for our last form of t-test today, we will look at independent samples t-test. Say we wanted to compare the class spirit of firsties and seniors at convocation. So we decided to measure the screaming of each class when they announced their class in the amphitheater in decibels. We developed a special technology that allowed us to isolate and measure the screams of individual students when their class was announced in the amphitheater. So we measured the screams of 20 firsties and 20 seniors. So the decibels of each screaming student are recorded in the data file convocation. The variable volume is the recorded decibels of each scream, and the variable class denotes whether the student is a first year or a senior. So we're going to investigate whether the volume of the two classes is similar or different. So again, we'll go to import dataset from Excel, and we will go to the RT-test tutorial folder and look for the convocation dataset and import it. So in the console, we are going to enter the code again with to let the computer know that we want to use the convocation data file, comma, t.test. Again, this time we're going to enter the dependent variable, which is volume, first, and then we're going to hit the tilde symbol and the independent variable, which is class. Then we'll enter a comma, and let's assume that we tested and we made sure that the variances were equal already. We can say var.equal. This is assuming that the variances are equal in the data between the first years and the seniors. So then we'll enter equals true. Oops, sorry, equals true. Okay, now we can hit enter. And here is our output. So this is saying it's a two-sample t-test, and the data is volume by class. So the t-score tells us that the t-value is 0.23756, the degrees of freedom are 38, and the p-value is 0.814. So it also gives us the means in each group. So the mean of the firsties was 88.84 decibels, and the senior group, the average scream in decibels was 88.05. So given that the p-value is 0.814, that's above 0.05. So that's saying that there's no significant difference between these two means. So we can say that everyone has the same amount of class pride in this example, and that there's no significant difference in the volume of the cheers between the firsties and the seniors. So as you can see, the t-test functions using R are similar in terms of the code that you're going to enter. And so we'll explain more with working with t-tests in R when you are in lab this week. But it would probably be helpful to bring the reference notes with you to lab so that you can have some hints and different types of code to remind you of what to enter when you're working with RStudio. So until next time, don't be mean, be above average.